folks, so today is all about indoor putting practice. I'm going to show you 3 drills today. Drill number 1 is making sure your setup is consistent. There's no excuse to get this wrong, but you need to know how to do it. The second one is start line, so if you can't start your ball on line, you've got very limited chance of it going in. And finally, we're going to do some pace control drills. So 3 exercises, and these are the tools that I'm going to be using today. Okay, so the one thing you've got to understand with putting is every putt that you ever hit is a straight putt. It's the undulations that obviously make the ball fall with gravity. So if we can get a consistent setup and a consistent start line, then all it then comes down to is pace and green reading. So first things first, we have our little putt out mirror. This is great. You can keep this in your golf bag. It's a tiny little thing. But what we're looking for here is to get our eyes directly over the line of the golf ball. Mirror does, 1, it gets your head position correct, and 2, with the lines on this mirror, you can actually check whether your club face or putter face is open, closed, or square. And if you can start in that position, that's where we want to return to start that ball on line. As you make a stroke, we're trying to keep your left eye in that position. We don't want to see you start to follow where the ball goes, because that tends to close the club face. Stay back and through, simple little action, and let's see how we get on. So eye over the line. There we go, better strike. So another bit of kit I use as well is the string line. You can do this outside if you've got an elevated string line. This one's an indoor one, it's plastic, the ball goes through it. And this, if you haven't got the mirror, you can actually see, you're basically getting your ball directly in line, and then when you get your putter in behind, you know if your eyes are over the ball, if this line is straight through the centre of the ball. So same sort of thing as the mirror, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. Again, and if you haven't got the string line or a putting mirror, this is where your soup cans come in handy. So a bit of string through the ring pulls, either end. Okay, elevated off the ground. It's enough room for the putter to pass underneath. We can see if we get eyes directly over the ball, and it also gives you a target at the end there which is slightly smaller than a hole. So no excuses for your indoor putting practice. You can tell whether your stroke is good enough to stay on the line, so make sure you've got a dead flat surface, because any sort of slope is going to knock this off. Slightly closed or open, so if it's closed, your putter's going to come off, or the ball's going to come off early. If it's open as you hit the ball, it's going to tend to go off to the right side there. The use for your tins of soup is, can you get your ball through this gap to know if your start line is correct or not? So the gap here is about 5 mil either side. If you're hitting either of these cans from in that first sort of 18 inches of start line, then the ball is unlikely to go in. You might get a 3-footer, 4-footer in, but you're not going to get anything longer. They're going to tend to move off and just skim the edge of the hole or miss completely. So let's give this a go. Okay, so I've hit the left one there. So this is typical of me. I tend to miss left. Okay, a little adjustment, much better. Okay, so we've dialed in our straight stroke. Our action is good, we're happy. The issue now is, when you get to the putting green, how do you know whether you've lined up straight or not? What I do is I use my ball clip it over, and I draw a line on the ball, okay? Now, one thing I will say, you can use a Sharpie for this, but what I use is an overhead projector pen. think you can still get them. Now the reason I use the overhead projector pen is it doesn't tend to chip off. It almost embeds itself into the cover of the ball itself. So I draw a little arrow there, so that's where I want to get, and then you can add a few more bits and bobs on there. But what that does, it just creates a perfectly straight line. Is that true line, so you can line your putter up, you've got the line you want to hit it on, make your stroke, and if the ball rolls end over end, then you know you've hit a good putt. Now the only issue that people sometimes find with using the line is, unless you're going to get it spot on, it's pointless doing it. Can you physically get down on your haunches to actually line that ball up? You're going to line it up, you're going to come back, you're going to check it, you might then have to make some tweaks. If you're not able to do that, you're better off having a blank canvas and then picking an intermediary spot on the green, a couple of feet in front of you, that you're trying to line yourself up with and putt over. Okay, so finally we come on to pace putting. So I've actually doubled up the mat length here because I'm not on a carpet at home. The first putt's got to try and get just over this ridge here, so that's what I'm going to use as my first mark, and wherever that ends up, stop. Okay, way over the mark. Right, I'm going to put a coin down here now. Okay, so my next, now I'm going to try and get it just past that coin. The idea is to see how many balls I can get between that coin and going off the end of the mat.
Okay, so that's number one. Of course, that's one. And again, this is just pace control, so I'm not worried about lining the ball up. Okay, that's ball number two. Okay, three. Business in now. Oh, way too hard. Four. There's room for one more, at least. Okay, there's five. So I made five within 8 foot. I'll have one last go. Oh, that's so short. Shorty. So five to beat for me next time. But give this a go. This is really good stuff. It's going to help dial in your practice.
The main thing with indoor putting is you're taking the hole out of the equation. You're taking any imperfections in the green. You don't have to worry about that. All you're dialing in is start line. Can you get your consistent setup, and can you control a bit of pace? So if you get all those things right, when you go onto the green, you just trust the process. If you trust the process, that's all you can do. Whether it goes in or not is out of your control. At least you know you've hit the best putt you can possibly hit. The main thing I will say, the big takeaway from this is, if you're going to practice this indoors, don't forget to put your putter back in your bag. Okay, wise words from the pro. All right, good luck with it all, and I'll see you in the next video.